2 miles from there, and they heard an explosion. Jesse, when was that?
At the time, I don't have the exact time, but they said the whole house shook.
The whole house shook not long ago. And so that's about 2 miles away. So you wonder, other people certainly in the same exact area are thinking the same thing. What happened when they heard this explosion? And unfortunately, now we see these live pictures coming out of this part of Plano, and we all know what took place.
And for those of you just joining us, we have interrupted World News Tonight with David Muir. We have breaking news out of Plano. 5 people have been taken to the hospital after a house exploded in this neighborhood of Plano. You are looking at live pictures from HD Chopper 8. It's kind of coming in and out right now as we swirl over this breaking news scene. We've got dozens of Plano Fire and Rescue firefighters there on scene. We don't know the extent of the injuries of the people who were taken to the hospital. We do know that they are on scene right now, trying to answer the questions we all have. How did this happen? Pete talked about, could this have been a gas leak that caused this? This is what we all thought at the beginning when hearing about this breaking news, but we don't know that. We know that Jobin Panica, our reporter, is on scene trying to gather information for us right now. We also want to know, and we've asked Jobin to ask officials on scene, whether any other homes could be in danger right now, or if any evacuations are happening. We don't have those answers yet either, but we're going to stay over this scene until we get all the answers to these questions.
Yeah, and you wonder, again, we're not saying this was gas related. We don't know that at this point, but whenever there is a gas leak, when the authorities tell you need to be at least 300 to 400 feet away of that potential blast radius. And I just looking at this, I just want you to take a look. You can see that some of the debris from the home where the explosion was centered blew right next door. And you could see that next door neighbor's home just littered with debris there on the roof. And when we were around on the other side, on the street side, you could see the debris on top of some of the cars that were parked on the street and almost extending across the street to where the neighbors' properties are as well. So obviously it was centered on that one house. And when you look at the damage to that house, that reminds me of what I see when I see a tornado touchdown, where literally it's just been leveled to the ground. Obviously not the case this time, but the significant level of damage. And when you look at some of the blast radius and the debris that has been scattered in the vicinity of where that happened.
And you mentioned the vicinity. You see firefighters, since we've got a wide shot of this live picture, you see firefighters are going to homes all around this one home that was leveled in this explosion, and you see them in several blocks there from this live wide picture from HD Chopper 8, knocking on doors and talking to residents in these other homes surrounding this one home that was leveled by this explosion. I can tell you I've put out a call to Fire Chief Sam Greif. Hopefully, fortunate to have his cell phone number in my cell phone, so hopefully I'll be hearing from him and he could give us a little more information. We're also hoping to get some information from Jobin Panica, who is live on the scene there right now. So again, we're on the ground and in the air. If you're just joining us, there has been an explosion in a Plano neighborhood, 4400 block of Cleveland Drive in West Plano. This is between Coit and Ohio. And Pete, you say this is in a highly populated area.
Oh yeah, it's literally one home right after the other. It's just to the south of Park. So a lot of folks in Plano, of course, everyone knows where, Park Road and Preston are, that big intersection with all the shopping areas there. This is about 3-4 minutes. If you head east on Park, it's about 3 or 4 minutes on the right side of the road. So it's just down the street from that big intersection in Plano at Preston and Park. So it's just, it's less than a mile to the west from Medical City, and it's just to the north of a Plano Parkway. So a highly populated, a densely populated part of Plano.
Yeah, we're seeing now that Plano police officers are saying that gas is being shut off in that area. As Izzy mentioned, some of the firefighters going around to some of the nearby homes, shutting off gas to that part of Plano.
All right, well, we have brought you everything we know right now. News 8 at 6 is up in just about 10 minutes. Join us for this breaking news story out of Plano. A home has exploded. Live continuing coverage from the ground and in the air up next at 6.
Yes, we've transported 6 patients at this time.
And the good thing here is Medical City Plano's not even 3 blocks from here. Can you tell us the nature of their injuries?
I can't. All I have is priorities. They were not all life-threatening. Just getting to the hospital.
Can you tell us about sort of what the effort is now for the fire department? Here we have an ongoing situation. You have people that are coming out of their homes. You have gawkers that are wanting to see what's happening.
Right. We are just trying to figure out what happened, get the cause of the situation, and make sure the scene is safe for everybody that's close by now.
As I understand it, that you've put drones up.
Yes.
Can you tell us what that's about?
Giving us a bird's eye view of the scene, what's going on, the best eye and view that we can have on the situation.
What do you advise? What do you want to tell people who are wanting to come out? And we've been trying to circle around this neighborhood for a while, and it's hard. It's gridlock right around that neighborhood.
Stay away. Watch our Twitter feed. Watch our Facebook page. We're trying to update people that way as fast as we can, and of course we'll work with you on getting updates as quickly as we can.
The first thing, at least especially here in Texas, when we hear explosion, the first thing that comes to our mind is we're talking about natural gas here. Are we even close to even determining what that is?
We are not yet. Not until I get with command, and they have had time to figure out what's going on and the cause.
Is it very possible we're talking about a weather event? We understand there's a system that sort of moved in as well.
There was a storm that came through at the time, but again, just too early to speculate on what caused the explosion.
Captain, thank you, Peggy. Peggy Harrell with the Plano Fire Department. Again, we're hearing about 6 people who have been taken to nearby hospitals. We're only assuming they've been taken here some have been taken here to Medical City Plano, which is, like I said, about not even 3-4 blocks away from here. We've got houses with extensive damage, one house with a lot of damage, and we have a lot of people that are coming out into this neighborhood wanting to see what's going on. And we hear from the fire department, please stay inside your homes. You can still go to the fire department's social media site to see exactly what it is that's going on. Back to you guys.
Jobin, we got a couple of quick questions. She mentioned that the scene is not safe. So we've got 2 questions. If you could, I don't know if she's still close by, if you could ask her if the gas has been turned off in the neighborhood, number 1, and are they thinking about possible evacuations in that neighborhood if they feel the scene and that surrounding areas were affected might not be safe?
Okay, we may be having a little bit of trouble just with the audio connection there, but we're going to get our questions to Jobin, who's there on the scene, and hopefully he can wrangle some of the officials who are there. I know they're very, very busy right now, so we're just trying to be a little bit judicious in asking what questions we can to get you the information that you want to know about this explosion, while still allowing them to do, obviously, what they need to do there on the scene. But you can see a pretty massive presence there.
All right, Jobin, can you hear us?
We can hear you. As you can imagine, this is an ongoing thing going on. We got choppers up in the air. You got people sort of surrounding us, and then we have the PIO who's fielding questions from the media here. So we are actually at the staging area, about a block and a half away. As you said, you had some questions. I'll happily answer if I know them.
Jobin, one of the questions I had was just, have they asked the gas to be cut off in that neighborhood?
I can certainly find that out. Peggy, are we aware if gas has been shut off in this neighborhood? Gas has been shut off. That much we do know. Now she's left, so if there's any technical questions, I might not be able to get her to answer that question. But as far as we understand, natural gas has been cut off to this neighborhood, at least for the time being.
And Jobin, real quickly, she said the scene is not safe, and she had told you to just tell people to stay in their homes. Did she discuss the possibility of any other evacuations in the neighborhood at all, or that just people should just stay in their homes?
So here's what we do know. We know that they have, put up police line, and we're like I said, we're about 2 blocks away from where the incident actually occurred. They have shut off roads within a block from where all this has happened. That's as far as we know in terms of trying to control this situation, maintain this scene. Aside from that, we have not heard about any evacuations. In fact, as I was looking just down the street, it's hard to see because there's a lot of apparatus in front of us. We can see a lot of neighbors to where this incident occurred, standing out on their doorstep. which tells me probably that evacuations have not happened or may not happen unless we're told otherwise.
Jobin, have you had a chance to talk with anyone who may have heard the explosion? She mentioned some people heard the explosion from as far as a mile away.
Yeah, and that was really surprising to hear. When you're hearing about something a mile, that speaks to how strong this blast truly was. I have not had a chance to talk with any neighbors yet. Our hope is once we break away from this, that we actually get that chance. Like I said, there's a good number of people that have come out of their homes to see what it is that's going on. First they're hearing the chopper, now they're sort of now congregating. This is from what I've seen in the last 30 minutes here, congregating, talking about what it is that's happened in their neighborhood. And again, this is in West Plano here.
Yeah, that's only natural when something this catastrophic happens anywhere close to you. Obviously, people are going to be a little bit, first of all, concerned about their neighbors, a little bit scared and a little bit anxious, which is why we're trying to answer as many questions as you might possibly have. Just to reiterate and bring you up to speed for those of you who are just sort of joining us, we've been following this breaking news in Collin County. There was a major explosion at a home in Plano. It happened around 4:30 this afternoon, so about an hour and a half ago. And as the captain of the Plano Fire Rescue just told our Jobin Paniker, people reported feeling this explosion a mile away. You can see from that vantage point from Chopper 8, you can see that home has just been completely leveled. It looks like the kind of damage you see when a tornado touches down, and there's literally nothing left but debris. And you can also see how that debris has been scattered across that immediate radius there, where a massive amount of debris on the house next door, on the street, and we've been told it even broke some of the windows across the street.
Yeah, I wanna get over to Pete because Pete lives in Plano. He's familiar with this neighborhood. It is an older neighborhood, Pete. We looked up when this home was built, the one that was destroyed. It was built in 1971. It was a 50-year-old house.
Yeah, it's a densely populated part of Plano. It's as you know, I heard Jobin say a few moments ago, it's just a few blocks from Medical City. So it's just south of Park. It's just to the east of Ohio. So it's between Coit and Ohio. But here's the thing, Chris, you mentioned weather with this, and I heard Jobin say something too. The damage you're looking at there, that's the equivalent of like an EF5 tornado, where there's nothing left,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
There's no doubt this did not happen from a storm. Now, what could have happened, and this is pure speculation on my part, is if there was a gas leak and there was lightning, that could have been the spark to create that. And I do know that there was lightning in that area at that time, but I have no idea about anything else. But I do know this isn't a downburst at all. This is not weather related, because if you have a downburst, you're going to have winds of 140, 150. You know, it's going to be 125 plus, and you would have had damage all over that neighborhood, not just isolated to that one house and the houses that are adjoining. So a very densely populated neighborhood that's just a few blocks just to the east of Preston.
And
so,
Pete, because you mentioned the gas leak, I do want to let our viewers know that we have reached out to Atmos to find out if they're investigating this explosion and what they know about it. Again, this is on the 4400 block of Cleveland Drive. 6 people taken to Medical City, Plano. Our coverage continues right after this.
And
is 79. Dallas Baptist, some clouds, and 73. The high today was 86. Today's I think it's the 18th day in a row with below normal temperatures. We picked up about 1/4 of an inch of rain today, but 86 and 74, those are the numbers that'll go in the books today. The normals are 96 and 76, so we've been as hot as 108 on this date. Not today though. 80 degrees outside right now. It's amazing what some rain and a cool front will do. An east wind right now at 11 miles per hour. Pollen, we just have fungus. That's one good thing today. It's high. Total today's 15,426. Here's our rain. Right now, as we take a little wider view at the radar, big cluster moved through earlier this morning, just a scattering of rain out there right now. And as I go straight to the forecast for tonight, that has all the details in it. The rain that's out there right now will end this evening. There's nothing severe at all tonight. The low tonight is 73, so not as warm tonight as it has been, middle to upper 70s lately the last couple of days, but certainly on the muggy side due to the rain that we have around. During the day tomorrow, most of us are dry, but about 10, 20, maybe 30% of us will see some rain, especially during the afternoon. It won't be widespread. There's nothing severe in the forecast tomorrow, but another day with below normal temperatures. It won't last long. Those below
And you see this one house is obliterated. You see a lot of the insulation caked onto the car right in front of that house. And I want to show you something else. You know, we had a chance to talk with Peggy Harrell, captain with the fire department. She was talking about sort of the blast resulting in damage to houses adjacent to that house. And we are now, what, 1, 2, 3, fourth house up, and you see some of that window damage that we're talking about. That shows you the strength of this thing, and we'll talk to Wesley here in just a second. But I want to show you how many people have sort of now come out of their neighborhoods. These are the people that Plano Fire is hoping go back into their homes. These are all people who are clearly interested in what's going on, but also live in this neighborhood, worried about the people who have been taken to the hospital. As we've been told, 6 people have been taken to the hospital. We don't know what their conditions are yet. We're going to talk to Wesley now. Wesley, you don't live too far from here, right?
Oh yeah, no, I live about 2 streets down from here. Okay. And what I heard was an extremely aggressive lightning strike, and right after that, 2 big booms, and I was extremely confused. But I saw 2 flashes out my window, so I'm assuming that the lightning must have struck the gas line, and I'm not really sure what happened after that. But all I know is that after that explosion happened, my walls were vibrating, everything in the house vibrated. It felt like my whole house had shifted over. And went to go check outside to assess the damage, and wasn't much, but all I could see is that our foundation was damaged a little bit and had a few cracks in it from the explosion, and that's about it for me.
So you were in your home at the time. You hear not just one boom, a loud pop you believe is lightning, and then 2 large booms after that.
Yes, sir, that's exactly what you just described it perfectly.
Okay, and I'm sure it scared you. I'm sure.
More than scared me. I was terrified. I thought the house was about to come down. It's horrifying.
And you live how far from here?
2 streets down on Atlanta.
That's 2 streets down. That's probably what, 2 football fields from here. That's about at least that speaks to the nature of this blast that you see here. When you look at what you see here, what do you think?
I really just hope that that family's okay and that they get out safely and are able to recover quickly, because that is devastating to look at. That just shows the sheer force that lightning had on that explosion. That was very violent.
And we're still trying to figure out what it is that's happened here. Peggy Harrell with the Plano Fire Department telling us we don't know if this is weather related. We don't know if this is natural gas. We do know that natural gas has been shut off to this area. We do know that a lot of people have now come out here to see what it is that's going on, and this is pretty significant. We have one house that's obliterated, several houses around it also sustaining very serious damage. Chris, Cynthia, back to you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. And as we go back to that live view from Chopper 8, giving you sort of the wider bird's eye view of everything that's happened, you get a real sense of the scope of that damage and what that blast was able to do very quickly to that home. When Pete was here, he compared that damage to a Cat 5 tornado, just catastrophic damage that doesn't leave anything standing.
Yeah, Chris, there's just nothing left of that house, and there's damage to the homes right next to it on either side. And we can tell you that Atmos and Plano Fire Rescue crews are on scene right now trying to figure out what caused that explosion. We'll be right back on the other side of the break.